And now, in studio, coming straight out of the beautiful village of Del Mar to deliver the timely truths on the real estate market. He's a CEO and broker, a seasoned trainer, and an award-winning expert. He's Mark Schwartz, and this is the Mark Schwartz Real Estate Show.
Yes, but you hear Craig Sewing right now, excited to hand over the torch to Mr. Mark Schwartz for his first radio show. This guy's been crushing real estate for many, many years, and now he is 1 minute into his first show, hosting a radio show. Mark, glad to have you in the captain seat, man.
I love it. Thank you very much, Craig. Always welcome the opportunity.
So you said that was the OGs right there?
It was the OJs.
The OJs?
Not a plug for OG's Pizza.
When I hear that song, I'm thinking Sopranos.
Well, actually, Sopranos, or I think I stole it from H&R Block. They have some really good commercials.
Well, we also got Herschel Strutter, your boy here as well, that's going to be co-hosting the show with you, man. This is a great way to go into the weekend. What's going on, Herschel?
How you doing, everyone?
Have you guys...
Yeah, Herschel's actually a luxury home specialist, my right-hand man and our media guy, and welcome here to be my co-host.
Yeah, operating out of Del Mar.
Operating out of Del Mar, California.
Life sucks for
Can't beat it.
Herschel and Mark Schwartz.
I feel blessed.
How are you guys' brackets doing?
Well, after the upsets yesterday, I'm not quite sure.
Well, I didn't get my bracket in. Last year, we Paulie, you and I did this, right? We had the whole bracket set up with like 50 to 60 people, and I think I was out by like round one.
Exactly. And the person that should have won was Elhoff, but he didn't finish his.
Yeah, so we had a financial advisor on our show that we did this with last year. He's crushing everybody in the first bracket, the first round, which is the most difficult one where all the upsets. This guy is nailing like 14 on 3 upsets.
Yeah, it's generally the guy whose alma mater is the one who's upset everybody, and he follows all the way through. It's the one guy that takes the tournament at the end and knock out 75% of the people up front.
So check this out. So he's like almost perfect to get this thing going, and he's just killing everybody. And we're looking forward, and we look at his bracket. He didn't finish his bracket.
He stopped filling out his bracket at the lead eight.
He left the Final Four open. He ended up losing and getting like second place or something like that because he didn't even have anyone picked.
The highest
in the
point
final.
total. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's dumb.
So we know he has an attention problem.
Yeah, and he's a financial advisor too. So I'm not trying to give him a bad name here, but who cares about brackets? I know SCSU is playing right now, so we're not going to play any spoiler here. When you get home, you can check that out. But for right now, Mark Schwartz, Herschel, and I, we're going to take you into the weekend. A lot of cool things always happening in San Diego. The weather's going to be perfect, and real estate market seems to be doing really well. Yesterday, Mark, I saw on the front page of the paper, the median home price is up 7.3%, $410,000 to $440,000, something like that. A lot of numbers, but you tell me, you're in the trenches, you're helping a lot of people. When I sat down with you the other day, you're like, I got a gazillion properties closing next week. I mean, your phone would not stop ringing. It's tough to get your attention, but we got you now for an hour.
Yes, you do.
What's happening in the real estate market?
As you said, things are very active, and thank you. But what's happening is our listings are selling. Homes in at least the areas that we're working with are still at limited. Inventory is low, and it's a premium, and it's a great opportunity to get out there and make it happen for a seller and or for a buyer looking based on interest rates.
So what happens now? Now it's March, right? So now it's spring season. Isn't this when people start to put their homes on market? Shouldn't we see some of this inventory open up a bit?
Absolutely. In fact, 85% of the people wait till spring thinking that summertime's when people move for the schools, etc. Yet we found in 2015, much like in 2014, it was go time in January. As soon as we crossed over that New Year's Day, It was almost like January 2nd, things just took off. So inventory is increasing. It goes up 20, 22 homes out of 100, and it goes back down and back up. So things are selling still. I see a steady market at this point through August, September. Feds should be rising interest rates in September, as per what we're looking at.
It's probably going to happen at some point in time.
Yeah.
Are people getting ahead of that? I mean, are people responding to the fact that they think rates are going to climb? I mean, right now, the banks are practically paying your mortgage for you.
As you said, nobody makes a move until rates start to creep up. Everyone's waiting and seeing if they're going to go down.
Is that a media thing? I mean, why do people wait? Is it, okay, now we better get moving kind of thing? Is it because the media finally says something? When you deal with people on the day-to-day, I mean, I talk about this stuff on my show, but people are always like, are you a realtor? No. Are you a financial advisor? No. Are you an attorney? No. I'm like, the only thing I'm licensed to do is drive a car, and I'm not even sure if I'm licensed to do that.
I saw you pull out of the parking lot, man. You were pretty good.
Yeah. On Wednesday, I pulled out of the parking lot. I hit another car.
Aye.
Yeah. Anyway, I could get into that story, but that was kind of the week I've had. You know, like you have those weeks where everything goes wrong. I've had one of those weeks. Anyway.
Well, we're here to make a change.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's
Thank
why
you.
I'm letting you take the captain chair, man. I'm bad luck. But what was I even asking? I don't even remember what I was asking you. Something about the media. Who cares? But
you were saying, does the media drive the public and how they operate? And that's accurate. There's no question about it. So when you're hearing that the real estate market is down on TV and on the radio, then the perception with the public is that the real estate market's down and people will take a step back. When you hear that interest rates are lower than ever and they're not making any changes and that it's, prices are creeping up, a buyer's going to step back and wait for more inventory thinking that they don't have to move quickly, interest rates aren't going to change, which is okay if you're not payment sensitive. If you're payment sensitive, then you need to be very in tune to the interest rate market and when they make those changes, as you know. So I think right now you'll see as we go into spring where we're anticipating huge lumps of listings coming on the market, you're not going to see it. Things are still being snapped up as they come on the market. There's still enough buyer activity out there. But yes, once the rates start to creep up, everybody jumps off the fence thinking that they waited too long and now they need to go. It's a comfort level.
And I think what the original point before I went on my rabbit trail was that I'm not actually in the trenches. On my show, I position as a consumer advocate, but I bring guys like Mark Schwartz around me to help me appear to be a lot smarter. And he did such a good job throughout the last year that we decided, hey, let's give this guy a show and let's put it at a time when we're going into weekend and people can learn some of the activity that's happening in real estate. But you are actually in real estate. You're a broker. You're closing a ton of business. Give me some stories of people that you're helping right now. I mean, a lot of these numbers can kind of go over people's heads, but let's start with the buyers, then we'll flip over to the seller side. Who's buying real estate right now? I mean, are you seeing first-time home buyers? Are you seeing move-up buyers, investors? And even if you're seeing all of them, give us some good examples of some people that you're helping.
Great. Thank you. Everybody's buying. Everybody wants to buy real estate right now. Money's cheap, and it's a great opportunity to build wealth. As I think we discussed last time, there's like 1.2 million in homeowners that now have equity positions that they hadn't had before.
Survived the storm.
Absolutely. So we're seeing movement in every aspect of it. An example would be we had a listing on the market. It's a short sale. It's in a really popular area of Carmel Valley. Gated community.
So you still had a short sale?
Still had a short sale. It was one of those ones that had just lingered on and they had been fighting with the bank, etc. It was go time. So obviously we priced the home to sell and created a multiple offer situation. And I had a very good look at what buyers were coming from it. We had people that were relocating from companies. We had investors that were looking to clean the house up and flip it still in this day, thinking that there was a profit to be made. I've had move-up people. We had second home buyers. And so in going through the motions, we've seen a plethora of different people coming from different areas and different situations. I think it's great. I think everybody's participating now. And I think it's a great time going into, like you say, spring and summer. We're going to have a really good year.
Well, I love seeing that 1 point whatever million you said that we're underwater or not anymore. So you know how many, that's so many people, that's homes. I mean, I know a lot of times statistics can kind of drown out the fact that each one of those is an individual family that survived an economic collapse, and the epicenter of that earthquake was real estate.
Absolutely.
And where my original background was in mortgage. I mean, what an environment to survive. But each one of those families has survived. They have equity again. So that's a great story in itself. Now, the specific story that you were telling us was of a short sale. So this is someone who never really did get back to the point where they had equity again. Was it your listing?
Yes.
What is the process now on short selling with the banks anymore? It's got to be different than it was a few years ago when it was, everybody was shooting the banks in the face with a fire hose of short sales. There are not as many out there. So what was that process like?
Well, based on experience and going through the last couple of years with short sales, as you talked about, banks have become more proficient in the process. They've expedited the systems so that things don't take long, don't drag out like they have before. I have a professional short sale negotiator that handles the transaction for us, and a team in place that's gone through this to make sure that it's a smooth transaction. I find that in this case, Wells Fargo's the bank. They're very receptive, and they've been moving quickly. So at this point, it isn't like that 6 to 8 month delay or nightmare type escrow that you're trying to fight the bank and continuously pounding away. I think now what's up is they all know this is the last few homes we're trying to just get off the books and move on.
Everybody's trying to move forward. What about the advice you give to that seller? So they've short sold their home. That's not necessarily a great thing for their credit, but right now you have people in the market that are buying homes that short sold years ago, right? So they're back in the game.
Absolutely.
I mean, some people are buying in the same exact neighborhood. I guarantee there's a story out there right now where someone's buying back the same house that they originally had, but at least in the same neighborhood because they took the right steps. They short sold. They got their credit back on track. I know we don't have any of our expert mortgage guys in here. I look forward to future shows where you do bring in your mortgage guys, how long it takes. What is it, like a year or two, I think, something like that through a short sale? So what's the advice you're giving to a seller, in this case, who just short sold his home to get back into the game?
Interestingly enough, banks are now working with at least the Federal Housing Administration after 2 years of a short sale. As long as it was an isolated situation and it was really only the house that you went in debt or default in, where your other credit remained okay, then you do have the ability to go ahead and buy another home. So you would look at the situation and make sure it's, like I said, an isolated situation with the house. They're not completely upside down in their lives, and in fact, there's light at the end of the tunnel. If it's a situation where everything's gone wrong for them, then yeah, they need to they can short sell the house, go through the process of cleaning up their credit, and get back on track if they're so inclined to. The key is trying to keep them focused, man. After the whitewash, the tidal wave that's just knocked them and their families out of their house, or they've had to roll up their sleeves and try and grin and bear it until they had the ability to maybe breathe or make a move. Yeah, are they into buying another home after they've just been completely blown out? So that's why you have to slowly go through the process and try and handle them with care, kid gloves, as you say, just to make sure that they don't come out, bruised and bleeding after the process.
Well, when it comes to the real estate market, there's no shortage of content. I mean, every day you're going to be here at 8 p.m. giving information on this stuff. It's the Mark Schwartz Show. Stick around. We're going to answer some of your emails. Mark, we're going to make you predict what's going to happen with the market in 2015. I know you didn't bring your crystal ball, but since we got you here, let's hear what you think. Herschel, we're putting you on the spot when we come back.
Absolutely, and I want to just put a shout out to Joe Costa, my mortgage guy over at Park Place Financial Group. If you need anything regarding financing, Park Place has a full array of home loan projects. It is at 858-228-7324. Call my guy, Joe.
Whatever I do.
Do you have money troubles? I may be able to get you debt-free in 90 days. Imagine the peace of mind that would bring. Don't wait another second to get your financial house in order. Call me, Attorney Gary Quackenbush, today. 855-MY-GQ-LAW. That's 855-MY-GQ-LAW.
Gary Quackenbush qualifies as a federal debt relief agency and helps some individuals and businesses file for bankruptcy protection.
Call me, Attorney Gary Quackenbush, today. 855-MY-GQ-LAW.
If you're considering a divorce, you have options. You don't have to walk away frustrated and financially depleted. At Pacific Divorce Management, they have a better way to help you manage the financial stress and start fresh with your future in mind. Pacific Divorce Management will show you that your divorce doesn't have to be a battle.
Divorce is stressful. Ease the stress of your divorce with a sound financial plan and advice without losing a bunch of money on attorneys. Get clarity for your financial future. Call my friend in this situation. He's our exclusive partner for divorce financial management, Justin Reckers. Call him 858-509-2330. That's 509-2330. That's 509-2330. Or visit craigsewing.com and I will happily and personally introduce you.
So here's what I got to let the audience know. We go into the break, and Mark gets up and he's like hustling a deal with his escrow gal here. It's Friday. We're doing a radio show, and normally someone in their first radio show would kind of prime up for the next break. You go run and start talking about a deal or something happening, like putting out a fire.
Absolutely. The concierge service from First California Escrow, it's unbelievable. I had to drag her with me. We got multiple escrows going on, all kinds of things. We had docs, etc., as you know from being in the mortgage business before. I got to have hands-on. That's why I love the support I have from my team. Thank you.
Now, I'm sure you don't want to share the personal details. It sounded like you guys were about to rip someone's head off, which is not good. But what was going on? I mean, everybody likes to know the good story, man. I mean, is something going south? What's the problem with the deal?
Oh, no, at this point, just a buyer signing loan documents and a couple of issues on credits that he was expecting and anticipating, and not getting phone calls back from a lender that was not my lender, by the way. Joe Costa is my lender. Use my mortgage guy, Joe Costa. Call me anytime.
He's got a great reputation.
414-4602. Yep. Absolutely. The guy's an animal. And in fact, that's all I surround myself with, the guys that are gamers, for sure.
Escrow just being dramatic. Is that what's happening here?
You can say first time buyer that's in there, and he's a little bit nervous about what's going on, and we just want to hold his hand through it. So I had to bring my gal from First California Escrow, Stacy Pulowski, to make sure that transaction was handled properly.
Well, Stacy's a stud. What do you call a female stud? Like
thoroughbred.
A thoroughbred? I don't know. That's kind of insulting to a female.
Yeah, maybe not thoroughbred.
A studette? I don't know. Anyway, so she does a great job for you on the escrow side.
Absolutely.
Now, Joe, on your
She's a rock star is actually what you call it.
We'll call Stacy a rock star. That always works. We're going to avoid thoroughbred moving forward, Mark.
Thank you.
But when you're talking about your mortgage guy, Joe, here, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that the whoever the loan officer was on this deal doesn't have control of the client. You're on the listing side of the deal, so you can only do so much. What are the mistakes that you see a lot of these loan officers still making in today's market? I mean, what did this guy do wrong that has a first-time home buyer jittery at the closing table? Like, these jitters should be well behind you by the time you're signing docs.
Well, our expectations would be that on a first-time home buyer, the lender would be there holding his hand through the transaction and ensuring that he understood the process. Obviously hoping to build a relationship with this guy who's just getting started.
Referrals and things
let's
like
be
that,
realistic. And that's okay. And one thing I can count on with Joe Costa, 858-228-7324, my mortgage guy, is he is all over it. He's got 24 years experience. He's dealt with investors, first-time home buyers. He's got an array of products for them. And the key is communication, I think we talked about. It's if you have a question, you can expect to get it answered. If you have an email in, you can expect to get a response. I mean, that's what you would expect as a home buyer, right?
Well, I think it's stressful, right? You're buying your first house. You're going to take on a mortgage, which is a liability.
You got a list of expenses that you're facing, costs, and now all of a sudden, like you said, you're in for 30 years.
A lot of times, husband, wife, maybe a kid, all of a sudden, when you're renting, it's just not as stressful. But if you realize the value of home ownership right now, when interest rates are this low, let me tell you a quick story of.
Well, you just brought up a huge thing about renting and not being stressful. I mean, like, you're a renter, but you can't just pack up and move out. I mean, you're obligated by the lease, and there's laws in place. But you're right, like the mentality is not my house. Right?
Yeah, exactly. There is a gal that we helped for my show earlier this year. And I'll leave her name out of it, but she's a first-time home buyer, probably very similar to what you're talking about. Sweet gal, and she's going to buy this house, and she's asking me some questions. I know this girl on a personal level as well, and she said, we're getting really stressed out. We're getting into the process now, so I asked her, like, what are you stressed out about? She goes, well, we're taking on this mortgage, and it's just a big deal. And I go, well, what does the mortgage payment look like compared to what you're paying in rent? She's like, well, it's like $400 more a month, and that we're tight, and it's stressful. I go, first of all, if you qualify for that mortgage, the way that banks are conservative right now, trust me, it's way more affordable than you're giving yourself credit for. They would not lend you the money if you were not a credible borrower, if you didn't have sustainable income. I go, but do you realize that payment being $400 a month higher is actually a lower payment? Of course, she's like, well, how is that possible? I go, because every time you make a payment on that mortgage, unlike your rent, the end of the year, you're going to get thousands of dollars back because of your tax write-off, interest, your real estate taxes. You can deduct those things. She's like, oh, I didn't really think about that. I go, if you readjusted your W-4 with your employer, you're going to get more money back on a monthly basis.
People don't think about that. Absolutely. They don't think about that fact, that you can make an adjustment on your dependents or how you're filing your taxes so that you can actually capture that $400 up front, not have to wait till the end of the year to go ahead.
And none of us in here are CPAs. It's full disclosure on that, but I know that you're going to be bringing in a CPA at some point on the show. By the way, if you are a CPA, What a great show to get aligned with. Mark Schwartz, top producing realtor, going to be bringing in other experts as well. If you're a CPA, you should go to mark4homes.com.
Appreciate that.
We'd love to have that guy in this show to explain that. But, generalizing it, you can rewrite how your taxes are held so you don't have to wait till the end of the year. You can get that cash flow every single month.
Absolutely.
And not only that, I told her, I said, look, you're paying down principal every time you make that house payment. So you're building savings in the actual payment as well. And she's like, well, what if my husband lost his job? Or, I go, well, that's a problem whether you own a house or not. You'll be glad that you can at least sell this house and get some equity out of it. Or maybe you rent the house. She's like, well, what if the housing market crashes? I'm like, the housing market crashed in 2008. Find me one of those homeowners that went to jail because they couldn't pay their mortgage. You
find a lot of those homeowners that lived in their homes for 2 or 3 years without making payments.
Yeah, it actually worked out kind of well for a lot of people.
It appreciated, and they got in a position where they could sell the house and get up.
Yeah, people are buying homes right now that short sell their home. So I do not want to oversimplify things. I'm just someone who believes that, the expression low risk, high reward, or high risk, low reward. I look at buying a house right now as no risk, high reward. Now, that's a pretty bold statement, but the risks can be mitigated with the fact that you live in the greatest country in the world. If you make a mistake, it's not going to crush you. It's not like a stock or your retirement that can go to zero. You can get rid of the house, and nobody's going to come after you.
No house has ever gone to zero, but stocks have absolutely gone to zero. You can rent a house out to cover your payments, a majority of your payment, as you discussed. There are many creative ways to hang on to that house. You don't have that opportunity with stocks. It isn't that 4 times the wealth is created over home ownership. That's an accurate statement. I mean, you have all the benefits. The government is paving the way for you to create wealth by keeping rates down and appreciation growing, making tax credits for you, low down payments. It's like they're begging people to buy homes these days. If they're not lining up right now, you're missing the boat, that's for sure.
Well, the good news is people reach out to you. We always got to remind them they can go to mark4homes.com, out of Del Mar, hosting his first show here today. The stock market was up 220 points today, which is great, right? We're talking about real estate versus stocks. Not one of those stocks in the S&P 500 can you live in.
No.
Right? And if the market gets crushed, it's like the 4th largest time in U.S. history where we haven't seen a 10% correction in the stock market. Mm-hmm. If an Enron situation happens, if a bubble happens, you could get crushed. Your retirement can get crushed. Even if the real estate market went down, you still get to live in the house.
Guaranteed.
And you gave a story earlier in the first segment about someone that you helped to short sale. Look, they're still moving on. They're still living in the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. So, it's funny because recently I saw an article actually on Yahoo Finance that was suggesting that owning stocks is better than owning real estate. And it's not to say that owning stocks is bad, but explain to me what you could do with $20,000 in the stock market. $20,000 in the real estate market, you could buy a $400,000 house. And in the stock market, that $20,000 is going up or down, whatever it may be. In real estate, it's the $400,000 that's going up or down. So you put that $20,000 down. If that $400,000 house goes up, what we saw last year, 7%, you're talking $28,000.
Yeah, it's $2,500 a month in increase based on, and it's not like you put $400,000 down, as you said. So for 5% down, if you can qualify, you get into that home, and the home is increasing at $2,500 a month steadily at this point. So 7.3 isn't a huge number. If you look over the last 50 years, you'll find that homes have gone up consistently on the average of close to 10%. And so annually, you'll see the steady increase. It goes up and down based on the fluctuation with interest rates. But all that I see based on the 200 points on the stock market is that interest rates are going to start creeping up, because when the stock market starts going up, interest rates start creeping up too. So you got to be very careful. Right now it's critical time. So if you're on the fence and you're looking to buy, call me, Mark Schwartz, 858-414-4602. Tell me your needs. Let's go through. Let's put a program together for you so that you can start acquiring the wealth that you deserve.
At the very least, go to mark4homes.com. And I also have to make clear as well, I'm not one of those rah-rah, everybody should buy a home type guys. I don't even have a real estate license or anything like that. It's just for me, I see so many people overanalyzing and getting caught in fear-based thinking over something, because it is a big decision. I'm not saying that it's not, but it's like anything, the higher risk, the higher reward. But I just don't see the risk, because even in the worst case scenario, we saw that. We saw it in 2008. How bad was it? I mean, really, if you had to short sell your home, how bad was it? The worst thing that anyone could have is bad credit.
The issue is that generally what happened was when people were short selling their homes, it had to do with their careers, their jobs,
good point,
and the economy. And it didn't really have to do with the fact that the house went up and down. It was the fact that the payment was no longer affordable.
A lot of jobs were lost. You're right.
Absolutely.
Well, you just talked about 1 million people now that have equity that didn't before.
They could still afford to keep their houses. Even though they thought they were underwater. I mean, you're not underwater if you don't sell the house. Yep. You have an asset that's appreciating long-term and creating wealth. And one thing you brought up about stocks, the difference in real estate is as you're making your payments, you're buying down the loan.
Yep.
And so you're increasing your wealth there, and you're also getting an appreciating asset that you live in, you could rent out, you can gain income from, all the things we've discussed. So,
well, every situation is different. If you want to look at a situation for you, it may or may not make sense. But if you go to mark4homes.com, Mark Schwartz and his team can help you there. Mark, when we get back, I want to get you to
answer
some
of our emails. Got to hit Herschel up. Yeah, definitely. I got a couple of emails. And Herschel, I want to talk to him about some of the celebrity buying that's going on. If the money guys are buying real estate,
here.
Yeah, absolutely. My luxury home specialist.
Let's dive into the luxury market when we come back.
Love it.
Hey, your host, Craig Sewing here. I got some great advice for you here today. Please tune in. Listen, everyone has a credit score. I am a believer that every one of those credit scores has inaccuracies that affect it within that credit report. It's pretty much a proven fact. Now, the question is, what do you do about your credit? The bureaus don't make money off of giving you an accurate credit score. They could care less. They make money by selling your information to the big banks and mortgage companies, insurance, realtors. I can help you stop that. We can help you get a free credit report that doesn't ding your credit. We can help you opt out of having your information sold. All those letters you're getting in the mail, email offers, it's because they're selling your information to anyone who will buy it. You got to stop it. It puts you at risk at identity theft. Here's what you can get today. A free credit package from Aran Sinai. Aran is the best in the business. He's going to teach you how to get that free credit report, how to opt out, and if you need any credit advice, he'll chat with you for free as well. His number, 866-CREDIT-PRO. 866-CREDIT-PRO. Give Aran a call. 866-CREDIT-PRO. Or if you like, visit me online. Tell me about your story. CraigSewing.com. Call Aran, 866-CREDIT-PRO, or visit CraigSewing.com. Craig Sewing here, host of The Craig Sewing Show. I want you to think in your head for a minute. How much money did you make last year? Here's a better question. How much money did you keep? In other words, how much of your hard-earned money was for you rather than giving it away to this inefficient government of ours? If you think the government's inefficient, I got a challenge for you. I'm going to challenge your efficiency with your tax plan. My good friend Doug Jennings, who you hear on KCBQ all the time, is a savant when it comes to tax planning. As Doug puts it, Craig, I've never even seen a tax return I can't improve. Doug can help you keep more of your money, help you improve your structure for your taxes, your business, your real estate, even your marriage. Why wouldn't you take a moment to get a free consultation? It can save you thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. He's not really a friend of the IRS, but I'm a consumer advocate. I want him helping you. This is something you got to do. Visit JenningsTaxLaw.com for a free consultation on your tax plan. That's JenningsTaxLaw.com. You can thank me later. Doug is a great person, a great professional. He and his wife Peggy are friends of mine. I give him my highest recommendation. JenningsTaxLaw.com. Visit him today.
The Mark Schwartz Show, man. I'm excited to be handing you the torch.
Love it, man. Thank you very much.
I get worn out talking about all this stuff. I'm not even the one in the space.
I'm here to help.
I have guys like you.
That's it.
Out of Del Mar, but you cover a lot of San Diego, right?
We're all San Diego County, yes.
We got Herschel here. He's doing the luxury stuff.
Got a team in place. We have a number of agents in our office, and we're all over San Diego County.
Herschel's
the luxury
market. What's up with the money, man? Come on. Everybody wants to know. What are all the big people doing, man? We're just a squirrel trying to get a nut. Tell us what like the big dollars are doing.
Well, a lot of what we see in the celebrity market, in the bigger, $2 to $6 to $8 million market, stuff is tends to be like moving fairly quickly. Obviously, as you get to 6 to 10, it's sitting a little. You're looking for a specific buyer, but with some of the celebrities that I work with that are coming into the Laguna Beach area, coming into the La Jolla market, coming into Beverly Hills in Hollywood area, they're traveling all the time. They're constantly moving. They're looking for a place to entertain their guests. You know how the Hollywood scene is, Craig.
Yeah,
I've seen you at a few parties.
right.
There's no mortgages on those. They're generally paying cash.
Just
Exactly.
cash
Like
buyers.
cash is from. Absolutely.
Exactly.
I was going to say that they're traveling around and buying a place. It seems like they might be, hey, Herschel, if a house comes up like on the coast in La Jolla, we'll buy it.
Right.
And not really concerning themselves with having to look at multiple homes. We want this spot on the beach. When it comes up, we'll buy it. Is that the case?
Yeah, no, that's typically the case. Typically, I'm speaking with their managers, their agents, and I don't get a chance to hit them up until like they're actually walking through the house. So it's pretty crazy dealing with those type of clients.
I imagine.
As you have experience with.
Actually, the one celebrity, my claim to fame was I was wet behind the ears. I just got my real estate license in Los Angeles. I was working for a broker. They own the clubs in Hollywood. Guy had a house up in the Mulholland Estates, multi-million-dollar house. My guy goes out of town. He's like, hey, if you get any calls, just show the house. I'm thinking, okay, no problem. He leaves town. I get a call from Burt Reynolds' agent. I'm thinking, Burt Reynolds, okay, no problem. Roll him up to the house, show him the house. I'm like, quiet as a mouse. The father ends up showing the house the entire time. They end up walking away. The guy's got no broker. His agent is calling me direct. And I'm thinking, looking back, I should have been all over that guy if it wasn't the first opportunity they had with that type of situation. But yeah, these guys are out there, and they're all looking to buy. Obviously, the real estate market must be good if they're throwing their money at it.
Definitely. A lot of what we're seeing, especially in the San Diego area, we're seeing a lot of CXX types looking for second homes. They're looking to, they have pretty much 4,000 to 5,000 square feet already, typically outside of San Diego, doing a lot of traveling. I'm working with a lot of CXX nonprofit types that are looking to come in and buy condos in the La Jolla market, in the Del Mar area. So it's good, man. Business is booming at Mark Schwartz Realty, and we're having fun with it.
These are the guys that are generally renting those houses for like $25,000 a month down on the coast, for 4 months, like $100,000 for to move their family here for 4 months and then bail out. Is that right?
Exactly, $10,000 a month. They're coming in. They're like, look, we're here during the summer months with the family. Yeah,
love it.
Must be nice, huh?
Yeah, 3 or 4 homes in quality resort-style communities. Can't beat it. Just travel back and forth.
You got that kind of money, Craig.
Yeah. All the 17 homes that I bought last year, all cash money, on the beach, renting them out, $25,000. Life's good.
Life's great.
There is a lot of money out there, and I think the lesson you can take away from it, I mean, you don't have to have that much money to still get into the opportunity. The lesson is that if there's a reason that kind of money is flowing into the San Diego marketplace, it's coming from all over the world. And that tells you something. In San Diego, it's obviously the weather is perfect year round.
Best climate in the country.
We're surrounded by an ocean, so there's limited growth space. So you can only invent so much dirt. And San Diego is the spot. And there's still areas that are still underdeveloped. I mean, even downtown blows my mind. It's ridiculous. I was coming in from Coronado the other day, and there's this one high rise that's going up over there, which is the second Pinnacle building. And it's sticking out by itself. There's so much that can be grown into in downtown. I love that market over there, and there's a lot of money coming from all over the world. And even if you don't have millions and millions of dollars, first-time home buyers, you don't have to have the money.
You can buy downtown right now. There's 1 bedrooms you can get into with 3.5% down. It's a joke. Keep your payments less than $2,000. And as you said, they're developing that entire area over the next 5 to 6 years. The parks by the harbor and. I mean,
East Village is going nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Idea districts, libraries, law schools. Downtown is a great market to look into, especially I think as you moved a little bit east. But you made a really good point here. I mean, here we're talking about millions of dollars. That's because you guys got guys like Herschel in here, and he's working with all these celebrities and these big wigs. But if you're looking to be a first-time home buyer and you're just saying, hey, well, how do I accomplish the American dream? Mark made a great point. 3.5% down can get you there. So hypothetically, if you're buying a $500,000 house, 3.5% down is somewhere around, we'll call it $17,500. Right, $17,500. If you don't have that, well, you're probably not in the right spot to buy a house. But $17,500, that's that could come from your 401k. That can actually be gifted. That's all you need to control a $500,000 asset. So think about that. You put $17,000 down. You buy a $500,000 house. The payment on that house is similar to what you would be paying in rent anyway, but you're getting tax advantages. You're paying principal. And even though we don't have a crystal ball, let's say hypothetically real estate went up 5%. That's $25,000 a year in equity that you're building. Not to mention what you're paying down.
You're
so
throwing
3.5%
into absolutely to gain, even if it averages 7.3 or whatever it was last.
Call 2%.
Right.
I mean, whatever.
And you're buying the loan down. I had the same scenario we were just discussing. We sold a house in Claremont. It was about 5.25, 3.5% down. It was a school teacher on a fixed income. The gentleman had just out of school and starting, so combined income wasn't huge, but they are definitely going to be in a better position soon. But they still were able to, without too much savings, get the ball rolling. They're having kids, they're building their family and creating wealth. I mean, that's what it's all about. For less than $20,000 out of their pockets, they were able to buy a $500,000 house and get the ball rolling.
Mark4homes.com. You got to connect with Mark Schwartz. He's the guy. Hey, Mark, I'm putting you on the spot here. So, and Herschel, you'll get a kick out of this. I don't think you were there that day, but one day I did a real estate roundtable on my show, and I had like 3 realtors on it. There's like 17,000 real estate licenses. If I was in the captain chair right now where Mark is, I would hit the button on the soundboard, which is a bunch of sheep. It takes longer to get your haircut license. Beautiful. Well done. Who needs a button when you got that? It takes longer to get your hairstyling license than it does to get a real estate license. How backwards is that? So anyway, I'm not saying that any of those guys were here, but I am making fun of the entire industry. But there was a day I was doing a real estate roundtable, and we were going back and forth, and I'm trying to stir things up a little bit, and I can't remember what question I asked to the group. But Mark is sitting right as close to you are to me right now. I mean, arm's distance. And this guy gave the most politically correct BS answer on what was happening in real estate. And I go, well, Mark, what do you think? And he goes, well, first of all, let me just say that was like what'd you say?
I said, he's got my vote. That was like the most politically correct response.
Yeah, if this guy was a politician, I would vote for him because I'd be sold on that politically correct BS answer. I was like, oh,
he actually he just dodged the question and answered it the way he thought would be best for the public.
Well, it's like, give me a break, man. People are tuned in because they want answers, right? I mean, if they want to hear, they can go on Google if they just want to get some generic thing or they want to get pitched something. They want to know, you're a top producer, like what's going on. And this guy, Mark could eat this guy's lunch. I mean, so anyway, here's what I want to get out of you, Mark. There's no one here that can get upset with you. Tell us some of the things that you see some of the amateurs doing out there. I mean, there's so many people that are looking to buy or sell real estate that think the way that you go about it is you reach out to a family friend or someone you saw on a bus bench or someone who is the father of a kid that plays baseball, t-ball with your kid, and he sold a house last year. It's scary how you can get a license to do something so important and the mistakes that can be made. So what are some of the things that you're seeing some of the amateurs out there make that we can maybe help protect people from?
Well, that's a great question.
You're like,
I could come up
where
with
do I start?
1,000 things, but the reality, Craig, is that unfortunately people don't take the time to educate themselves in this business. And so what happens is people are afraid to say they don't know the answer and I'll find out and get back to you. And they generally start quoting things that are inaccurate or guiding them in the wrong direction. The contract changed at the end of last year. It entailed going to and learning about the new residential purchase contract. Stacy Pulowski from First California Escrow ran a class for my office. It was awesome. But people are still showing up with offers on our listings using the contract that the CAR, California Association of Realtors, said to not use. We're constantly having to go back. They're leaving things blank, not addressing issues. So what's happening is as the industry changes, 80% of the people don't make that change, aren't cutting edge, aren't on top of it. So, look, do you want to work with somebody who has a tool belt full of the tools that are needed to succeed in the project that you're going to get yourself involved in? Or are you looking to work with someone who's winging it? As you said, my hairstylist has a real estate license. Maybe she needs the money. We'll go buy a house through her. Maybe she'll give us back $5,000. So, cheap is expensive in this business. You need to be with a licensed professional with a team in place, structured and surrounded by winners that have experience and have done this over and over again for your own protection. Absolutely.
When you say surrounded by winners, so as the realtor, you're kind of the hub of the wheel. You know what I mean? It's like people come to you to buy or sell a home, but if you look at the HUD-1 settlement statement, you got mortgage in there, processors, loan officers, you got title, you got escrow, insurance, appraisers, credit reports. I mean, there's so many spokes on that wheel. Talk about the people that you align with, because you obviously can't do it all. You can't do the financing. And the people out in the market that are important, not just for what you do, but that you're going to be integrating into the show.
Absolutely. I have sponsors in place and people that are going to come that support my office and my endeavors. Joe Costa, like I said, from Park Place Financial Group. He's great, has an array of home loan products for you. Just give him a call at 858-228-7324.
Why do you like Joe?
I like Joe because
you have all these choices of mortgage guys. They're considered vendors in the space. So these guys are calling you, emailing you, knocking at your door all day long. So it's not like you have a shortage of options. Why do you choose him to handle people's debt?
Well, much like anything, it's a relationship based. And in this business, I go where I see committed people who take the time to educate themselves and that have communication skills with clients of any nature. I like Joe because he's responsive. I like Joe because he's on top of it. He's knowledgeable about the business, and he's flexible, versatile. Like, I'm a creative individual, and I don't walk away from deals. I specialize in putting and keeping deals together, and I need people that are around me that have that same mentality. So whether it's the mortgage company, the escrow company, First California Escrow, Jill, I've been using her for 12 years. She's an animal. She gets the job done. No excuses. I don't sell with blah, blah when I can sell with blah. It's that type of thing. The title companies I work with, the escrow companies, I've gone through them, and I've retained the ones that we work best together.
And then you got, someone buys a house, all of a sudden you're going to be building equity. You're going to need financial advice. Earlier we were talking about tax advice. Yeah, CPA.
Comes up all the time.
You're going to need to protect it. I sat down with my estate planning and tax planning attorney this morning, actually, before I came to the show here today. And
he told you to buy a house.
Well, yeah, I'm actually in the process, but I actually own 3 pieces of real estate. And he created this whole blueprint for me that was sobering. And the reason it was, he said, well, what happens if any of these renters in these properties wanted to sue you? And I was like, well, he goes, these need to be held differently. These need to be held in an LLC. He goes, I want everything you have going on held in the trust. If you get sued, are you going to really hold all these personal liabilities because of something that happened in Missouri on one of your duplexes?
Is that because you held title in your own name as opposed to
well, when I bought them, yeah, and then a lot of just the assets that I had, they hadn't. He wants me holding them in a trust. And look, you don't have to know everything. You just need to be aligned with the people that do.
Absolutely.
And Mark is out there in the marketplace, and these are the relationships he has. And so when you go to mark4homes.com and you tune into this show, he can be someone who can extend his knowledge to these other guys and create these relationships for you. And myself, who is a consumer advocate, I have these guys helping me. And in my particular story with the estate plan, it was humbling. It's like, wow, if I didn't know Doug Jennings, who's my guy, I would be exposed. My assets would be exposed, and quite honestly, I'd be paying more taxes than I need to. So there's just so much that comes along with it. The last thing you want to do is bubble gum and duct tape your team together. Mark has an all-star team of all of these guys, and for anything you might need, it doesn't have to just be real estate. It could be mortgage, estate planning, tax planning, everything we've listed off. Mark4homes.com, great place to go, but certainly a good reason to listen to the show.
Absolutely.
I look forward to what you have coming up. What do you have coming up? What's going to be there with the Mark 4 Homes, or not the Mark 4 Homes, the Mark Schwartz show coming up, man? This is your first show. What's going to be coming up next week and beyond?
Like, you can count on cutting edge information on what's going on in the local area. We're San Diego based. We're, been in Southern California. I'm a San Diego native, and we're going to make you aware of what's happening over the weekend, listings that we have coming, the activity as far as the sales that are going on, open houses that are available over the weekend as well. We're going to tell you some stories, things to look out for, and what to do and not to do when buying a home. And then we have an email exchange as well, where we have emails coming into Mark, M-A-R-K, at M-A-R-K, the number 4, homes, Homes.com. So that's Mark at Mark4Homes. Email any questions, and we're here to answer them for you. So we'll go over some of those too. We're going to have some fun. We love real estate. We love making people's dreams come true. Working hard for you. That's my slogan, man. That's what we're doing.
Work hard, play hard. I get the idea that Mark and Herschel have fun too, man. The show's probably going to be a lot of fun to tune in. It'll be a good way to get your weekend started.
I feel blessed to absolutely have him on my side. So.
Hey, likewise.
Yeah, we'll probably watch some basketball this weekend, man.
Absolutely.
I didn't get my bracket in time. Paulie, is there anything we need to know about what's going on? I know SDSU is playing now, so we can't go too deep on that. But, I mean...
How's that Ohio State game? They came back. It was tied. It went into OT yesterday.
Yeah, Ohio State came back. It was a good comeback for them. A couple upsets.
What was the seeding on that?
Ohio State was a 10, I believe.
And they won?
Yeah.
So was there a 14-3 knockoff?
Yeah, there was a 14.
Yeah, Georgia State won, and also there was another big time. Oh, UAB won. They beat Iowa State. That was a 2-15 matchup.
Mm-hmm.
A 2-15 loss?
Yes.
Well, yesterday the general consensus of the bracket was to take all the dogs from this point on.
Yeah, it's been a really good tournament. I haven't watched any of the games today because I've been working all day. But yesterday was a really exciting first day of the tournament.
Can't wait to get back on it this weekend too. Like you said, this is where we bring it down to the 16 teams next week.
Yeah. So by the end of this weekend, we'll be down to just 16. We'll go from 64 to 16 that quickly.
Love it.
It's important to remind the audience that this is a San Diego-based show. So, I mean, we're going to be talking about things that are happening right here. Mark is a consumer advocate in real estate.
Absolutely.
Chargers for sure. Is there anything going on with the Chargers Paul, I haven't talked to you in a while, man. I mean,
exactly.
Are we getting a stadium? Are we keeping the team?
It sounds like the committee's kind of decided on the Mission Valley site, so basically building a new stadium right next to the current Qualcomm Stadium. But we'll have to wait and see if they can actually find a way to actually get that paid for.
Well, we had talked about that in the past. They were proposing condominiums and stores and shops in the parking lot there and building parking structures.
So what do you think of that? I mean, you're the real estate guys. What do you think of this idea they're going to build it in Mission Valley? Me, I don't think about it so much in real estate. I just think what's cool, and I think it'd be cool if they did downtown. But, I mean, for real estate, Mission Valley...
Well, we're still bummed that they're taking out Riverwalk Golf Course to put in
you know what? It's funny you say that. I am, too. I love Riverwalk. It's like the one course that I can suck and still get a decent score. I'm not kidding you.
You play 9 holes for $27 there.
I play Steel Canyon all the time, and my score is just brutal. I go out and play the same game on Riverwalk, and all of a sudden I'm breaking under 100. I'm like, man, I played a good round today. No, it said I was able to go 3 fairways over and still play the ball.
That's Encinitas Ranch, absolutely.
Is that the deal?
Yeah, Encinitas Ranch is wide open, man. We love playing there. There's an ocean view on every hole, but if you hit it left or you hit it right, you're still in the game.
So, but what are they doing? So. The Riverwalk thing is not tied to Qualcomm.
No, I was just bringing that up as another Mission Valley project. They're proposing, they're doing a huge commercial development there, and they've owned that property for years. Yeah, I haven't seen, but I can imagine between 2 and 3 years, yeah.
Yeah. God, I love that golf course. That
was great.
Unfortunate. Anyway, but on the Qualcomm side, if they go and they do rebuild this stadium, I would have to think that that's a good thing for people that own real estate in central San Diego.
Absolutely.
Property values go up? Does it saturate it? Does it distract?
They're going to build new condos. The attraction of the stadium, a brand new stadium, always brings people in, as you know, no matter where they put it up. You got businesses that are thriving around the stadium, restaurants, housing, the condominiums. I think will be very popular. You'll find a lot of probably athletes, owners, and people that are participating in those things.
We'll talk to Herschel for that. All the football players, baseball players, call Herschel. He's a luxury guy.
Herschel Struthers, send him an email, solutions@Herschel, HERSHEL247.com. That's 24/7.
Too kind.
If you're under $3 million, don't call him.
Do not.
He won't even look at you. I can't believe he let me sit next to him this whole show.
But he'll refer him to me or somebody on my team.
If you're not,
I love everyone.
Big or small, we take it off.
It's funny you say that about the stadium, though. I mean, look what Petco Park has done for downtown. I mean, it's a staple of downtown, and even though the Padres have been terrible for the last several years, maybe pretty much for the last ever. When they put Petco Park downtown, going to a Padre baseball game is so much fun. Grabbing a bite to eat, going to the game, having some drinks at the game, after the game. It's always a good time. So it's great for the economy down there. I can only think that getting Qualcomm somewhere in Mission Valley is going to do something similar.
Same vibe. It's funny. Like I went to a Dodger game last year. I'm from Los Angeles originally, and it was like an hour to get up to the stadium. It was packed. It's at the top of the hill. There's one way in and one way out. And by the time you get up to the your seats. The game's already started. Petco Park, you roll right up around the corner. You park for $10, and you walk in the stadium. You walk out. It's a great experience as well. And so that's why any new stadium is going to provide that. You see Staples Center in L.A. did really well as well.
Well, I mean, that speaks to how terrible Qualcomm is. I can't stand going to Charger games. The parking lot is a nightmare going in and out. I haven't been to one game yet where I haven't seen a brawl.
Have you seen the TVs in the snack stands? They're like those deep, old-school TVs. They're not even flat screens.
I mean, how hard is it,
They're
right?
dogging us on national TV about our small screen that we have, the Jumbotrons is like a 36-inch TV.
Yeah.
You know,
Good thing they're moving on up.
It's not cool like Fenway Park in baseball where like older is cooler. It's like, no, older is not cooler. It's embarrassing.
We're just holding it together there at Qualcomm, yeah.
But hopefully they get their act together on that. Obviously, priority number one is not to lose the Chargers.
Please.
Number two is get that stadium to be attractive, make it be good for just commerce in Mission Valley or wherever they may put it. On the Padres front, we got to be really excited about what they have coming on board. I mean, they've made all these big pickups. I mean, Paulie, you got to be just foaming at the mouth for Padre baseball.
You know what? I have not been this excited about upcoming Padre season since 1998 when they made the World Series run. I'm not saying this team's going to go to the World Series. They play in a tough division. They have the Giants in there. The Dodgers are always going to be solid, especially with their pitching staff. But the Padres are actually making some moves. Like, you have James Shields starting the opening game of the season. That's
just
amazing.
He was just in the World Series.
The Padres are going to the World Series.
Yeah, from Paulie Drivis.
Not at all what I said.
You know what? I know we got about 2 minutes left before we take everybody into the weekend, and everyone's going to have a great weekend. Weather's going to be perfect here, I'm sure. Is there a way you could pull up the odds while we're sitting here? I would love to know what the odds are of the Padres going to the World Series, because now that they've made these major pickups, they got it. I mean, who they got? The Dodgers and the Giants that they're going against. I would say we have to be close to a 50. Yeah, Arizona as well. You know, it's funny. My right hand man, Steve Kane, who helps me a lot with my show, he reached out to on my behalf to see what season tickets look like this year. I was like, I wouldn't mind getting season tickets. It'd be a good thing for us, a show, give them out and give them to friends, family, partners of the show. And he calls me up one night. I'm on my cell phone walking my dog, and he's like, "Man, I got season tickets. I got this awesome deal." And he's telling me about these 4 seats close to the dugout and ability to use a suite and all this stuff. I'm like, man, it sounds really good. Of course, in my mind, I'm like, how much is this going to cost? He goes, okay, it's a little expensive. I was like, all right, how much? I mean, maybe I'm a little naive. I was thinking $6, $7, $8 grand, maybe. He goes, it's a great deal. I go, okay, 4 or 5. 18 grand. I'm like, oh God, man, $18,000. He goes, Craig, I'm telling you, this is a great deal. And listen to this. The guy on the phone at the Padres said to me, if I buy him today, he can guarantee me this price, but tomorrow he can't. I'm like, oh God, man, come on. They're getting cocky in sales now over there. We get a couple players.
20-1 odds to win the World Series.
What is it?
20-1.
Now compare that to the Giants and Dodgers. What is it for them?
The Dodgers are 8-1.
Ah, baloney.
And the Giants are 15-1.
Oh, so both of them still got the odds on
Padres are 10th.
So basically, this guy's telling you it's $50 a ticket for your 4 tickets.
Look at this guy. What are you, a mortgage guy bringing up numbers on me?
I told you.
Yeah, he knows his
dialed
numbers.
in. Mark Schwartz.
I play one on TV.
You know, when real estate guys know numbers, that is a force to be reckoned with. There's so many realtors running around, they don't even know what a mortgage payment looks like. It's terrifying. But Mark, we're out of time, man. Your first show, man. What do you think?
I had a great time. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Craig. I really appreciate
great
it.
first show. Herschel. Yeah, so we're going to see you again next week, same time, 11:70 a.m. KCBQ, The Answer, the Mark Schwartz Show. Make sure you visit him online, markforhomes.com. We're out of here.